What order?
Oh,
I'm just gonna have to roll with it.
The next page, I think, is the title.
yeah, it is.
Fill up a spreadsheet with all the potential options.
People, we've had this many at Where do we have to have this many?
It's just the orders that we should have something to do.
Good news is that they're not a hostile crowd.
Probably very close. We are now on the air. Thank you and welcome to the first meeting of the Xenia City Council for 2018 on this January the 11th. We've been in special session and executive session since 5:30 this evening and are now ready to begin our regular session. And I will ask that we have first an invocation from Elder Van Holloway, can't even speak this evening, thank you, from Emmanuel Baptist Church. And then we will follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance led by our new Councilman Dean. If you would rise with me, please, for the invocation and pledge.
Our God, we are thankful that in your plans and purposes, you established this community in Xenia, Ohio, unique from every other community on this earth, to accomplish your good purposes. And I thank you, God, this evening for Mayor Mays and the new and special role that she will have in this coming year. And I ask your special blessing on her. I also thank you for Councilman Dean and pray a special blessing on him also as he undertakes the work of serving this community. And God, I pray over this council that, Lord, they would not be characterized by politics, but instead by integrity. That their conversations in the community, conversations at home, and conversations in meetings together, that there will be unity there, that there will be oneness there, that God, these council members will be marked by integrity, and that they might lead this community with skillful hands. Because when they do, many, many will be blessed. And I also want to pause, God, and just say a prayer over those in our community who are the first responders. I pray for their protection and safety, and thank you, God, that when there's danger, they are called into it, and they serve us in that way. So please protect them. Bless this meeting tonight. Might the discussion be fruitful and bring blessing upon Xenia, Ohio. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Elder Holloway and Councilman Dean. May I have roll call, please?
Vice President Smith.
Here.
Councilman Wallace.
Here.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Here.
Councilman Dean.
Here.
Mayor Mays.
Here.
President Engel.
Here. Thank you very much. At this time, we have an opportunity for the swearing in of our new mayor and new councilman and re-swearing in of our sitting councilman, Councilman Smith. Really, we were going to do it out there. If all of you would turn your mics in to the area.
Please raise your right hand. I, Sarah J. Mays,
I, Sarah J. Mays,
solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear
that as mayor of the city of Xenia, Ohio,
that as mayor of the city of Xenia, Ohio,
I will support
I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio
and the Charter and ordinances
and the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Xenia,
of the City of Xenia,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly,
and impartially discharge the duties of my office to which I have been elected. Furthermore, as mayor, I will dutifully and respectfully represent the City of Xenia at all times. I promise to discharge to the best of my abilities the duties of mayor, representing equally, honestly, and faithfully all citizens who call Xenia home. Congratulations.
Serious first and the Gutierrez second. Okay, sorry.
Stop. Okay, ready? Serious? Serious? And your
All right, we're ready for
request.
goofing.
One more. Got it.
You raise your right hand. I, Wesley Smith, solemnly swear or affirm that as a member of the City Council
that as a member of the City Council
of the City of Xenia, Ohio,
of the City of Xenia, Ohio,
I will support
I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution of Ohio,
the Constitution of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances
and the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Xenia,
of the City of Xenia,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully
honestly, and
Honestly.
impartially
and impartially
discharge
discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to which I have been elected.
to which I have been elected.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
sir. Can we do one of the silly pictures too?
Yes, you can. Your request will be granted. Okay. Ready?
Should I dab?
Yes.
Everywhere I go to the schools, as soon as we get ready to photograph a kid, they want to do that. Thank you.
The family can come up, someone might press the pen.
I don't think you have room for that.
See? Our whole family?
I know where you got all your votes.
All right, you in, swear in. Raise your right hand. I, Levi Dean,
I, Levi Dean,
solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear or affirm
that as a member
that as a member
of the City Council
of the City Council
of the City of Xenia,
of the City of Xenia,
I will support
I will support
the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of Ohio,
the Constitution of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances
and the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Xenia,
of the City of Xenia,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties of my office
discharge the duties of my office
to which I have been elected.
to which I have been elected.
Congratulations. Congratulations, sir.
Go ahead, Donette.
Lee, get
I
the
mean-
wide angle.
Fit all that man.
I think we can do it, actually, if it's okay, Mr. Is that
Can we
okay?
do a silly face?
Scoot over, please. Shift quickly. Donette, you'll be front and center. Representative. Wow. All right, here we go. Okay, and then just mom and dad and you. Mr. Dean. Okay. Cool. There we go. There we go. Thank you.
We can take a few moments recess if anyone would like to either stay or go. We've never had an audience quite this large of stay before, but I just wanted to make sure you have an opportunity.
Is that Anthony Bill? No.
Well, the next person is yours, Mayor, so we can't do anything without you.
Whatever you guys feel like you need to do.
At this time, we are going to be doing our reorganization of electing council president and vice president for 2018. So I will begin with any nominations for the position of president for the 2018 term.
I'm sorry, before you get started, Mayor Mays, I'm not a candidate for either position.
Okay.
Make things a little bit easier.
Okay, thank you, sir. Councilman Wallace?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to nominate our existing council president, Mr. Michael Engel, as council president for the 2018 term.
Thank you. Could I have a second, please?
I'll second that nomination.
All right, second by Councilman Smith. So Mike Engel has been nominated for the position of president for the 2018 term. Are there any other nominations at this time? Seeing none, let's go ahead and do roll call.
Vice President Smith,
Aye.
Councilman Wallace,
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach,
Aye.
Councilman Dean,
Aye.
Mayor Mays,
Aye.
President Engel.
I'll just politely pass.
We'll count that as an abstain.
Oh, it's been a long day.
All right. Thank you. President Engel will remain for the 2018 term. Next, I'd like to call for nominations for the position of Vice President for 2018. Are there any nominations, please? Yes, Councilman Smith.
Madam Mayor, at this time, I would like to nominate Dr. Edgar Wallace for the position of Vice President for the 2018 term.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry? Councilman Lauterbach, was that a second? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Seconded by Councilman Lauterbach. Dr. Edgar Wallace has been nominated for the position of Vice President. Is there any other nominations at this time? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Vice President Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace.
I don't know what to do since the president didn't vote, but I think I'm worthy of a vote. Yes.
Councilman Lauterbach.
You might need that vote.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Can we go back to Councilman Lauterbach?
Yes.
Thank you.
Aye.
That was good.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we have Dr. Wallace as Vice President. Welcome. Go ahead and do some repositioning.
If you want to change it.
I turn it back over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. And welcome, Vice President Wallace.
Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. I think I'll change my chair, too. It's just right. Just right.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll return to the regular portion of our meeting, and I will seek a motion for approval of minutes for the December 28th, 2017 regular session, please.
So moved, Mr. President.
I'll second that, Mr. President.
Moved by Councilman Lauterbach and seconded by Councilman Smith. Is there any discussion or question on the said minutes, please? Seeing none, roll call.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Our next regularly scheduled item would be special presentations, but we have none this evening. So we will move to our next item, which is audience comments. Time for anyone in the audience to come and address the Xenia City Council. If you wish to do so, please step to the podium, provide us your name and address. Limit your comments 4 to 5 minutes, please.
Good evening. My name is Forrest Wilson. I reside at 193 California Street. Respective council members, several weeks ago I came here and asked the city to please close the drug dealing house on my street next door to me. This has been a problem going on for more than 2 years. Police come and go from the place. And I'm here to really commend recent actions of the police department. They recently arrested several of the occupants on felony drug charges, including trafficking. It is my personal hope that the city will, meet with their attorney and consider maybe billing Green Met or the property owner for enabling this to go on for months after months. But I want you to know that my neighbors and I are very appreciative of the police department, the brave men and women of our city police, put their lives on the line every day, and we appreciate that. I would like to especially mention Officer Fred Barker, who exhibits a high level of professionalism and community policing within our neighborhood. I cannot speak highly enough of Officer Barker and the other men and women of the Xenia Police for closing this drug house. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Would anyone else care to come and address the Xenia City Council this evening, please? Seeing none, we will move along to our new portion of our agenda, old business. And I was paying attention to the instructions. At this time, we will look at Resolution 2017-HH, and which was introduced by Councilman Lauterbach. I would invite the law director to read the ordinance.
Resolution 2017-HH, authorizing the city to convey land from and accept land dedicated to Sterling Green Park as part of the Sterling Green Crossing Phase 2 subdivision plat.
So moved for approval.
Thank you. Moved by Councilman Lauterbach. Second, please.
Second.
Go ahead.
Seconded by the Vice President. Any discussion or question on this motion, please? Seeing none, roll call.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. There's no other old business before us. A next regularly scheduled item would have been public hearings, but we have none this evening. So we will move to new business. The first item is ordinance 2018-01, which is an emergency. It is repealing ordinance 84-7 and declaring an emergency. Madam Law Director, please.
What we have before you tonight, ordinance 84-7, if you read the ordinance, it amended section 12904 of the codified ordinances. This is a section that no longer exists in the codified ordinances. I'm not exactly sure when that was repealed, but it's not there. What this ordinance did was set up general provisions for construction contracts. These sections were taken in 1984 from guidelines put out by the Architect Association of America. They're very general. They're not specific to the state of Ohio. But more than that, they're very outdated at this point. The city has still been using these general provisions. That's created an issue because the provisions that we're using don't comply with federal and state law. There are certain, give you an example. You cannot put a mechanics lien on a public project because it's public land. There's a procedure set forth where a subcontractor can apply to the city to get funds that he hasn't been paid by the contractor. That requires that we have retainage on all construction projects. We're not currently doing that. So if a claim was ever filed, we would have an issue in that we don't have the retainage. So there are issues with the bid bond, retainage, whether it's federal funding, some projects that we do, CDBGs, federal funds, some are state funds, OPWC. They have certain requirements. OPWC, you have to require use of domestic steel. You have to require a drug-free workplace. There are certain things about Ohio ethics law that you have to include in the contract. So what we would like to do, and what staff is suggesting, is rather than replacing these contract provisions, we would like to take them off the books. You have a full-time law director. I will be writing the contract specs for you based on what each type of project is. If it's federal funding, we also have the issue of Davis-Bacon wage rates apply, not the state prevailing wages. So we can really tailor these to what the specific type of project is, what the specific funding is, and that also will allow us to update those provisions as case law changes, because there's new construction lawsuits and cases coming out every day. So that's why we're recommending that these not be replaced. We think we can do a better job in-house keeping them up to date to what they need to be.
Thank you. This time I would ask for a motion as an emergency, please, for the passage of this.
So moved as an emergency.
Moved by Councilman Lauterbach as an emergency. Second, please.
Second.
Seconded by the Vice President. Discussion or question on the motion, please. Yes,
I
Councilman.
would just like to commend our law director for her due diligence on all these, keeping us straight, basically. And everybody up here wants to be transparent to the public, and I appreciate your due diligence.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other discussion or question, please? Seeing none, roll call.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next item is ordinance 2018-02, seeking an introduction. It is enacting section 230.03 titled Administrative Steering Committee and repealing sections 236.09 and 252.03 of the codified ordinances of the city of Xenia, Ohio. Madam Law Director.
What this ordinance does is, I'm very lucky, I have two rather fabulous coworkers. Yes, I meant you two.
We're concurring.
We meet on a weekly basis. What we found is in the current codified ordinances, there are two committees that currently exist of these three appointed officials and the clerk of the municipal court. That's the IT steering committee and the personnel management committee. What we are recommending is that you repeal those two sections. What we want to create is a new administrative steering committee. It will still be those four individuals, the city manager, the finance director, the law director, and the clerk of courts. We will still be talking about IT issues. Will we still be talking about personnel management issues? But that also gives us the opportunity to cover things such as building security, any other issues that basically affect the city as a whole. It allows us to meet and discuss those so that we, the four of us, can make proper recommendations to you as council on what city policy should be, or if any of the ordinances or laws of the city need to be updated. So that's basically what this ordinance does. You're just taking those two committees and combining them into one new one.
Thank you very much. Is there any question from my colleagues on this particular item?
More good housekeeping.
Thank you. Anything else, please? Seeing none, I would ask for an introduction from one of my colleagues.
Mr. President, I'll introduce that.
Thank you very much. Introduced by Councilman Smith. Final item in this section is Resolution 2018-A, seeking Resolution 20-18A, seeking an introduction, authorizing amendments to the City of Xenia's Electric Power Aggregation Plan of Operation and Governance. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. Resolution 2018-A is a recommended action that would authorize amendments to the city's electric power aggregation plan of operations and governance. Any changes made to the plan of governance are required by statute to be approved formally by the City Council. For the most part, the proposed changes to the plan of governance are innocuous and intended to generalize the document and to clean up some of the formatting issues contained. In particular, the original plan of governance cited a specific consultant under contract at that time when, as a matter of best practice, the plan should just generally refer to, quote, the city's consultant. Due to an expiring contract with our former consultant, staff has engaged a qualifications-based selection process to ensure we have a certified consultant on board to help us manage this program as we come to a close on the current electric aggregation agreement and plan to explore a competitive bid process for a new one. As has been communicated from my office to City Council separately regarding aggregation, we're in the early phases of evaluation and bid consideration on electric aggregation, and Council should be expecting some additional action items as we move into the spring. So again, this evening, staff recommends Council introduce the resolution for the first reading this evening.
Thank you very much. Is there any question on this resolution, please? Councilman.
Just a comment, you know, anytime you mention this, we're all gonna get questions. If I'm reading this language on the electric aggregation, if you're present or you're happy with your, whoever you're with, you don't have to submit anything new. Is that true?
Correct. This is, these changes as a part of approval of this resolution would not change our program as it was constituted previously. So homeowners can still opt out of the aggregation if they wish to. If they're currently in the aggregation, they can be part of the aggregation should the city choose to move forward with the new electric generation aggregation later this spring. So it kind of keeps the current status in place.
this has saved our citizens a substantial amount of money.
Yeah, we estimate over the period of this current aggregation contract term will be in excess of $1 million locally that we've saved over what the rate comparison would have been through a
And
DP&L.
I think this council passed it in 2014. Was this not a ballot issue?
This was a ballot issue approved by voters, and so we, at the council's direction, moved forward with the electric aggregation. I think we had a successful first round of this initiative, and again, we're in the early phases of looking at a bid process to test the market to see where we would be at. Depending on the outcome of that bid process, we would prospectively come back to council for a recommendation to engage in an additional contract for those electric generation services.
Not to muddy waters, but natural gas, I've talked to you in the past, that is so low now.
Yeah.
I don't think we could do an aggregation like we do on electric, could we?
So I appreciate you bringing it up. Voters in the city of Xenia previously, actually years prior to the electric aggregation, voters did approve a natural gas aggregation. The city did not take any action on it. As part of the review process with prospective consultants, one of the questions we asked was, are you certified in the state of Ohio to provide aggregation services for natural gas as well? And what would you recommend to us in terms of that process? So we have ended up with a consultant that is certified to walk us through that natural gas aggregation process. Our recommendation, I think, moving forward, we'll probably try to test the waters to see what the environment is like. But putting out a bid for that does not compel the city to have to follow through with it. We just kind of want to test the waters. To your point, Councilman, the natural gas market has been very robust in terms of the supply available. The fracking, the shale fracking has just created, we are the largest producer of natural gas in the world now. So the market is not ideal, but we feel like it's worth looking to see if there's a potential savings for our residents. If there appears that there would be, we would come back with a recommendation. But that would be, again, later this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question, please? If not, I would seek an introduction from one of my colleagues, please.
So introduced.
Introduced by Councilman Latterback. Thank you very much. At this time, we have the approved schedule of bills in the amount of $259,331.40 for consideration. Mr. Finance Director.
Yeah, I have nothing specific for council related to the bills, but I'm certainly here to answer any questions that you may have on them.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion, please, to pay our bills this evening?
So moved.
Moved by the mayor. Second, please.
Second that.
Seconded by Councilman Smith. Discussion or question on any of the bills, please? Seeing none, roll call.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Latterback.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Mr. President, the next item is an appointment to fill a council vacancy. At this time, I would like to nominate Mr. Thomas Scrivens for that position, that open council seat.
Thank you very much. I have a motion to appoint Mr. Thomas Scrivens to the open city council vacancy. Is there a second, please?
I'll second that nomination.
Seconded by the vice president. Any discussion or question on the motion, please? Seeing none, roll call.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Latterback.
No.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
No.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Engel.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Mr. Scrivens, welcome to the Xenia City Council. We will expect to seat you and take your oath for council at the next scheduled council meeting, which will be the 25th of January. Thank you very much, sir. At this time, we'll move from new business to reports of committees. Board for Recreation, Arts, and Cultural Activities. January meeting was canceled. So we will move on to, once a new person is assigned and they hold a meeting for the next review. Following that is Traffic Commission, and the January meeting was canceled. Anything to add, Mayor Mays?
No, we hope to meet in February.
Thank you. Anything for traffic and Mayor Mays, please? Thank you. Board of Zoning Appeals from 12/27/17, we have a report provided.
Do you have it? 'Cause
I do
don't
not
think
have
I do
it.
either.
I see that it's provided. I assume someone had it.
I would request, Mr. Council President, that we postpone that until next time.
Sounds like an excellent idea. We will
And I apologize
postpone
for that.
that.
That was
I kept thinking, well,
No, that's on me. I apologize.
somebody has it. And finally, Planning and Zoning Commission from the 4th of January 2018. Councilman Smith, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Xenia Planning and Zoning Commission met on Thursday, January 4th. We had 4 of our members present. We did vote reorganization to elect a vice chair. That was appointed and voted for Matt Bennett to chair, vice chair, Xenia Planning and Zoning. We had 1 member of the audience, 1 member of audience comments, 2 items that evening. One was a public hearing on case PZC 2018-1. This was a text amendment to the Land Development Code. This is to allow commercial vehicles to park on residential properties with certain restrictions. And it was also to increase the maximum height and reduce the required setback for temporary blade signs in our signage ordinance. And blade signs are the signs that you see that have a stand that go up, and it's just like a flag that flaps. They're long and narrow. And that was voted 4-0 to accept those. And then the next item was new business, which was case PZC 2018-2, which was an alternative equivalent review for the proposed recreation center with the adjoining senior citizen center and higher education facility at 716 South Progress Drive. This was filed by Ferguson Construction, and that property in mention is the REACH project, and that was voted 3-1 to accept those alternative requirements. Thank you, Mr. President. That was all.
Thank you. Anything for Councilman Smith in Planning and Zoning, please? Moving to item 12, appointed official reports and council comments, starting with the city manager, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, Council. Just a brief report this evening. Reminder, if you've been under a rock in the last couple of days, we are facing the potential for some significant winter weather conditions tomorrow, Friday, moving into Saturday. Due to the fact that this front is approaching as a rain event, we will not be doing any pre-treatment on the streets, so we'll be dealing with things in a real-time situation. There's potential for icing and then snow accumulation. As always, our protocol requires that we start treatments on our thoroughfares first, then work to our major arterial streets, minor arterial streets, and then on down the line. We do that to maintain, the majority of the major traffic throughways. And also, we have to coordinate with our public safety departments for any critical concerns that they have. So we can't always get to secondary streets when we want to, as quickly as we want to, but we will certainly do so as quickly as we possibly can. We'll be keeping a close eye on the situation. We already have plans in motion to stagger our staff starting tomorrow, our maintenance staff, so that we'll have a couple different shifts that'll be available. Most recent report is ratcheting back some of the snowfall totals, but unfortunately the ice totals are potentially a little more significant. So again, just a reminder that we'll stay on top of that, and folks should be aware that we'll handle that. Have been in touch with the schools as well, just to note that we try to coordinate with them too. So also wanted to just briefly note that we are working on a couple projects that we'll be scheduling some upcoming work sessions. We've promised some recommendations back to council on downtown parking, so we're in the process of working on that. As well as streets. We've been having some pretty assertive conversations among the staff on recommendations for options for council relative to dealing with our streets. So I'll look for those topics in regular session meetings coming soon. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, concerns for our city manager, please? Seeing none, moving to Mr. Finance Director.
Would just like to remind the public that the city offices will be closed Monday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Obviously, essential personnel, police, fire, public safety, all those will still continue to do what they do. But city offices, utility billing, income tax, planning, those types of services, those offices will be closed on Monday. And that's all I've got.
Thank you. Anything for our Finance Director, please? Seeing none, Madam Law Director.
I have nothing further this evening. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Anything for our Law Director, please? Moving to reports from mayor and council. Councilman Lauterbach, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to make one comment. We had 3 good candidates apply for the new council seat. I was going to support Billy Carrico. Billy Carrico finished 3rd in the voting of the citizens. The people have spoken. They wanted her. The other 2 candidates did not run for whatever reason. So my personal opinion is we should follow what the voters want. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Smith, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Dr. Wallace as Vice President. Thank you for stepping into that role. We had talked this year. I felt it was a good time to take a break, having done that office for about 3 terms, 3 years of my term, and we took maybe a half a year in there too. Just kind of need to concentrate a little bit on my company and my business. And then I'd like to congratulate the mayor for being sworn in. We're looking forward to wonderful things. Congratulate Councilman Dean, welcome aboard. And there's a reason why we sat next to him, so if he has questions, he can nudge either person on either side. So we like to do that with new council members, put them in between so they can ask us any question at any time. And President Engel, again, thank you for your service this year. And Councilman Lauterbach also serves. He's been up here longer than any of us, so thank you for your service. Just very pleased to be here, and it's just an honor to always represent our city. And just tell everyone to be careful this weekend. Winter's, we're just in the middle of it. So they say the worst thing about January is you got February coming behind it. So anyway, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Dean.
I would just like to concur with Councilman Lauterbach as far as the 3 candidates. We had 3 great candidates apply. Personally, I would have supported Billy Carrico just because she was the one who ran. The people made their voice heard. But I think Thomas Scrivens will do just fine. So I look forward to working with him on council. And I'd just like to thank the voters for electing me and for all the support that I've received. And thank you.
Thank you. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to my family that came tonight, many friends, my church family, several of my pastors came, and my high school girls' Bible study came, and that just means the world to me, and I'm very humbled and I'm privileged to be in this position. So I want to thank each person that came tonight to support me, and thank the voters for allowing me to serve in this way. I'm very excited, and I'll let you talk about Martin Luther. Is that good?
Okay.
No?
That's good.
Okay. That's all I have then.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Vice President.
Thank you. I would like to thank my colleagues for electing me Vice President. I appreciate your unanimous support for that. I will, since several have mentioned the issue of the 3 candidates, I do think that we had 3 excellent candidates for the vacancy that occurred. And I'll mention from just the opposite direction. There were 3 good candidates, 3 presentations that were very excellent on Tuesday night. However, since the day I was elected to council, and from what I understand, long before I got here, Thomas Scrivens has been at every council meeting for as long as there has been a council. And ever since I've been here, he's been here at every council meeting, observing, commenting, making observations, been unappointed, unelected, unpaid, unofficial building inspector, city streets inspector, and has been unofficial council member advising and giving us information that we could use to try to provide good service to our citizenry. So I didn't take any of that into account, but his presentation on Tuesday night was excellent, in addition to having done all of that. And so we've seen a lot of him. We have a very good idea of how he will perform once he gets here. So having the good presentation upon also the excellent track record for over 2 years, I felt confident that he would do a good job. So I frankly, I think it's a temporary appointment. The election will come up again at the end of the year, and if all three of them run again, we'll see what happens at the end of the year, and the citizens will get another opportunity to speak. But anyway, there will be the rehearsal for the Martin Luther King Choir for our Monday night's service. As it's been moved. It was to be on Friday night, and we had to move it because of that weather front that's coming in. We moved it to Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. It's going to be an awesome service on Monday night, January 15th, which is the actual birthday of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. It will be at Emmanuel Baptist Church at 11.
It's at 1120 South Detroit Street, and I just want to make sure people understand it is a community service. Everyone is
Absolutely.
invited.
Absolutely.
What time?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Reverend Gary Chapman, pastor of Zion Baptist Church, will be the preacher. He's awesome. You will enjoy his message, I'm sure. The choir is an ecumenical choir coming from a number of different churches. It's directed by Bob Colliner, the choir director from Legacy Christian Academy. And he's just excited. I'm excited. I'm a part of that choir. The mayor is a part of that choir. She's actually going to do a solo as well and play the piano for us. So she's going to be there. Coming from Zion Baptist Church, I call it a bell choir, but they're actually a xylophone choir. They're going to be performing as well. So we really would hope that you'll come out with us on Monday night and be a part of that Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King service on 7 o'clock on Monday night at Emmanuel Baptist Church. Rain, shine, snow, or whatever, we will have that service. And we'll do a good job of cleaning up the streets on the way to Emmanuel Baptist Church.
There actually is another front coming in on Monday, 1 to 3 inches of snow, just saying.
We'll do a good job of cleaning up on the way to the streets. But we will have a great time, I'm sure. We'll warm up things at Emmanuel. Okay? See you on Monday.
Thank you very much, and I would offer my sincere thanks and congratulations to all the 3 candidates that applied for the open council position. It was a very good interview process that we all experienced a couple of nights ago, and everyone who came out did a very good job. I would offer congratulations, obviously, again to Mr. Scrivens on his selection, and congratulations to all my colleagues, new and that have been here for a while, for their service to this city. We all do this not necessarily for any gain other than the satisfaction of having served our citizens and been there to be a voice for them. So again, not a glorious position by any stretch of the imagination, one that is full of hard work, long hours, and I thank each and every one of you for your dedication to that duty. I have nothing further, and I would seek a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Louderback, seconded by Councilman Smith. Roll call, please.
Vice President Wallace?
Aye.
Councilman Louderback?
Aye.
Councilman Smith?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Mayor Mays?
Aye.
President Engel?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
I hope you get feeling better.
You know, I don't feel bad. It's just